So, we are back with another episode. Tonight, we are going all the way to Rwanda. We are going to meet one gentleman called Emmanuel Ansah. He's a master's candidate at the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, where he's going to tell us more about how we are going to make our application there. So, in this conversation, here's what you should expect. Where should you find this opportunity? You should also get to understand about how to make applications, how to write your essays, the documents you need, and the life of an international student in Rwanda, including matters finances, which is very, very important. So, Emmanuel, I really appreciate that you have joined us for this conversation. How are you? All is good. Somebody always wants to know who Emmanuel is. So, who are you?
I'm a young boy from Ghana
Mhm.
and with a background in statistics. And I'm currently doing my master's in AIMS. And I'm an aspiring data scientist and statistician. And I plan to make useful applications in real world and contribute to academia as well.
So, what is AIMS?
Okay, AIMS, the full meaning of AIMS is African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. And the full purpose of AIMS is to train young Africans. That's why the name starts with African Institute, is to train Africans. And our goal is to make Africa one of the best workforce for getting mathematical student people who can apply from engineering up to physics, statistics, mathematics, who can apply their knowledge to tackle problems in Africa. That's the full purpose of AIMS.
Is AIMS a university or just a funding? Tell me how it works.
The AIMS is a whole body. Is a whole body. I wouldn't say it is. It isn't like a traditional university, but it's also an academic institution. Okay, where you go, you write quizzes, you study, you have teachers who teach you. You write exams and all. You have transcripts. So it's an institution, but it's not the traditional way we do our universities.
So, where did you learn about this institution and the scholarship?
Okay, for me, whilst I was in Ghana, in my final year of my bachelor's, the last day of class, our lecturer, who is currently the HOD in our department, was giving us advice on after school opportunities, whether you want to further or you want to work. And he mentioned AIMS, which was like at AIMS, you have less than 1 year to get a master's degree. And that really intrigued me because most of our people after undergraduate, they will straight away, they go to PhD. Some also go for master's 2 years. So I saw this as like a training ground where I can polish up my skills before either I go into the workforce or I go for a PhD.
So you were just telling me something about your bachelor's. You did a bachelor's in statistics.
Yeah, yes.
When did you graduate?
Oh, in 2023.
That feels like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just left your bachelor's and went in straight to a master's.
Um, in Ghana, we have what we call national service,
Mhm.
where you work, you try to work for the country for 1 year. It's not really mandatory, but if you want to work in the government institution, it's a prerequisite for everyone to do their national service. So after this, it was in the last month of my service, then I immediately came here. I ended in the last day of August and I came here in September.
So tell me about the requirements for AIMS. Because somebody who is listening to this conversation wants to understand if they can be accepted into AIMS and what do they need. What documents do I need to submit? What academic criteria do I need? Do I need do I need work experience? So how do I know that I'm an ideal candidate for AIMS scholarship?
AIMS, I would say the only prerequisite you need is you must have a solid mathematical background, whether it's physics, engineering, mathematics, statistics. Even I have people from um, geomatic engineering, and some of my colleagues are. It shouldn't be purely maths, just a lot of quantitative part of your degree or your masters. We have masters people coming here for another masters. We have people with a bachelor's. So all you need is your skills in math. That's the only prerequisite you need. And with the application, of course, you need your transcripts, all those documents you need, and you'll be writing some essays as well. And the essays are actually things you want to address in Africa.
Okay.
I think we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will be coming to that shortly. And you are doing a master's in data science, in mathematics, specializing in data science, right?
Yeah.
So what other alternatives do I have here? And I understand AIMS is not only in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So we have AIMS in South Africa, right?
Yeah, we have AIMS in South Africa, Senegal, Cameroon, Ghana, and Rwanda.
So we have
five.
AIMS in 5 countries.
Yeah, 5 centers.
Some of these countries, people speak French. Some of them, people speak English. Right?
Yeah, but I believe all the centers have adapted to English. Yeah, so those from French background, they are also, that's one problem my colleagues from the French background face here, is their English. And so they have to try to adapt to the way of teaching. That's one thing that people suffer with. But you should just be able to communicate in English, because math is a universal language. You don't really need to know much grammar, but just understanding the concepts.
Now, what document did you submit during your application?
Okay.
Allow me to interrupt this conversation and bring something to your attention. Since we launched this podcast a few months ago, we've had over 50,000 people watching our episodes, which we are very thankful for, and over 12,000 hours. However, we are currently trying to build our audience so that we can get the leverage to invite more guests to our podcast, and we can continue bringing more insights. As you can see in one of these slides, and I bet that's here, at least 80.7% of the people watching our podcasts are not subscribers to this channel. And what we are currently focusing on is building our audience. So I'm requesting that if you may like to support us, if you like what we are sharing, you support our channel by clicking that subscribe button so that we can grow. Our promise is to continue bringing you strong guests with more insights so that we can bring these conversations where you are.
Okay, so I submitted my CV, my recommendation letters. You submitted by yourself, and I submitted my transcript as well. So I think those are the things I submitted. But the rest of them, I think you have to type them in the application portal, like your statement of purpose and those things. It's not like the way we use for the Western universities, the US universities. It's more about what you want to do in Africa, because our main focus is the development of Africa. So what can you do to better your country or to make Africa great?
Let's begin with the first document, your CV. Fresh out of college, you went to NYSC. So I bet that was in your CV already. Do I need to add anything else in my CV to show that I am an ideal candidate? Do we have people transitioning directly from bachelor's to master's at AIMS?
Yeah, we are many. Most of us don't have working experience, especially those from Rwanda. They hadn't even graduated from school, had their formal graduation. They just finished their bachelor's and came straight to AIMS. So you don't really need working experience that much. The prerequisite is you must be good in mathematics. That's one thing. And you must be willing to learn and explore. That's all you need to do.
How many references did you submit?
I believe two.
So I am seated here and I want to choose somebody who is going to offer my references. Do you think my younger brother can serve?
Oh, no.
So how do I arrive at a conclusion that this is a good person to offer me some reference for this scholarship?
Okay, so for an academic most references should be academic, because you are trying to further in studies. So someone who knows your academic ability your capabilities, your research potentials. So mostly your lecturers or your supervisors, those who supervise your undergraduate thesis, then they are the ideal people to give you a reference.
Guys, so this is to the listener. And I usually say this a lot. Before you leave university, if you are in your undergraduate level, try to create good networks with your professors. And I believe Emmanuel can also reiterate that. Because in your scholarship application journey, you will need these people more frequently than you think. And this is not going to be once. If you've left university already, try to cultivate those relationships. Because imagine now you are submitting an application to AIMS, and you are submitting another application to Mandela Rhodes in South Africa. You're submitting another application to the Pan-African University Scholarship. So all these people are going to need references. So if you're not well networked with your professors, this is going to be a problem. So make sure at least the reference thing can be a big challenge.
Yeah.
But there's something else that challenges people more. It's called an essay. So you needed to demonstrate that you have Africa's interests at heart, right? Because this is a Pan-African thing. It is for Africa and for Africans who want to bring change in Africa. Now, what were you asked to demonstrate this?
They asked, what challenges do you identify in your localities or in your country? So the first thing I wrote about the challenges I see in Ghana specifically, so like road accidents, health issues, a whole lot of agriculture, and a whole lot of things. Those are the things I identified. And the next question was, how do you plan to address those issues? How do you plan to address those issues? And how will your studies in AIMS contribute to your passion? So those are the kinds of questions you'll be asked. It's not really anything difficult. Just be truthful, just be true to yourself, and speak through your heart.
Could you help me and take me step by step? I know when we made your application is quite some time back, but at least somebody's making the application today, and they are going to face more or less the same questions. And they are really interested in knowing, how should I approach this? So the first question you are asked is, what challenges do you have, right? So you came up with the list of these challenges. You said the challenges in transportation, that is accidents in agriculture, right? Is this a bullet point kind of a thing, or is this an essay? Let's begin there.
An essay. It's an essay form. It's an essay form. So you try to, I don't know how to explain it. There are a lot of resources on how to construct a good essay, right? So you just have to identify the problems you are facing in your community and try to give out your grievances and how you really want to impact your community and the people. You just have to speak through your heart. That's what I'm trying to say. You just have to.
So I have these challenges. I've listed. My first challenge is transportation, and it's in form of an essay, right?
Yeah.
Then the second challenge is maybe about agriculture or maybe disaster management, right? So what question comes out of that? How are you going to solve this problem, right?
Yeah. So in AIMS, we have data science, we have malaria modeling. Currently, those are the two, and we have epidemiology. Those are the three tracks we have, but you apply to them separately. So we had those who apply to epidemiology, those who apply to malaria modeling, and those who apply to mathematical science. And in the mathematical science, we have those who want to get just mathematical science and those who want to get data science. So to me, I want to get data science. So I'll try to link data science to those problems. Maybe I will say the knowledge I'll get in AIMS will help me to come up with working models or will help me to get insight from data to address these issues. So that's how you have to align your essays with these things.
So in short, you have to map what you said to how you want to approach it.
Yeah.
Is there another question that I should expect in these essays?
Not really.
Well, now you've written your essays, then you submitted them.
Yeah.
Did you have to attend any interviews?
Yes.
So how did it work?
Okay, I think in July, I got an email that we've been shortlisted, and I believe most of my friends, all my friends, were shortlisted. Those who applied to AIMS were shortlisted, and we had different days to do an interview. So, and the interview is mostly you are going to solve mathematical questions. They are trying to test your understanding. It's not about getting it right or wrong, but your understanding of basic mathematical concepts, maybe in linear algebra, a little logic, a little statistics, a little programming, especially in Python. Yeah, so those are the kind of questions you expect in your interview. So on the day of interview, they'll ask you to have your ID card with you, and you need a book and a pen with you. Yeah. So those are the things you need to have.
So you need your ID or maybe an
Yeah.
identification document
Yeah.
and a book and a pen, right?
Yeah.
So do I have to attend the interview physically or online?
No, on Zoom.
Ah.
The interview is done on Zoom.
Okay, so how does it go? Please take me through.
So you have the Zoom link. So on the time of the meeting, it's usually in Kigali time. So you have to convert it to your local time, and it's advisable to join early as usual. It's advisable to join early. You just be yourself. They just ask you to talk a little about yourself. Just tell us about you. Just a few lines. Then he or she will just say, I'm going to show you some questions and I'll like you to answer them. So that's all the interview is about.
So you write your question down, you solve it as quickly as you can. Is it an A, B, C, D kind of a question, a multi-choice kind of a question, or am I going to have to show my calculations?
They are going to share their screen on the Zoom, and their questions are on the Zoom. So you try to solve it on your book, and either you say the answer. If the answer is incorrect, they might just want to see how you try to solve it. So you can show your paper to them or your book to them for them to see how you try to approach it. It's not about getting it right or wrong. It's about your thinking. That's how the interview works.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Now, how do we deal with the coding part?
Okay, for me, I was asked to, I don't know, to write an algorithm to calculate if you have to find the factorial of a number. So I just tried to break it down. I knew I didn't get the right algorithm, but I just thought about it for a minute and I just wrote something down for them. So you just have to be yourself, try to think outside the box, and you'll be good. You'll be good.
You know, I'm
Just
already
be
thinking
bold.
about how I would calculate the factorial of a number. How much time do I have?
There's no time limit, but you should try to be fast because mostly the meeting is just. Mine took about just less than 15 minutes or about 20 minutes. I don't really remember, but you have a little time, so you just have to think fast, come up with a solution to the problem. If you don't know the actual answer, don't just say no idea. Try to say something. Try to link it to something. Yeah.
Okay, that is interesting for various reasons, and maybe I will get to talk to you about it later. But now you have done your interview, you've answered your questions on paper, and you've also explained how you're going to solve a factorial. Guys, this does not mean that you're also going to be asked the same
No,
question. I mean,
they have a lot of questions.
Yeah, there are hundreds of questions out there, so you should expect something or anything. Now, how long did it take for them to get back to you with feedback from your interview? And just before we go there, does it mean that they expect me to know how to code in Python or another language? What are they asking? Are they asking for the code or the logic? Because those are two different things.
Okay, they don't really expect you to know coding because some of my colleagues came here without any knowledge in coding in Python or in R or even coding in LaTeX. So they just need your understanding. How will you come about it? Because if you are really in a quantitative field, at least you've done logic, you've done a little programming, because we are in the 21st century and you need to know a little programming. So we don't expect you to be a master in it, but how do you try to solve a problem? That's the main goal of AIMS, problem solving. Yeah.
So how long did it take for them to get back to you with results?
I think it was maximum 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I think in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Because it was in July and in August, and then we had to come to the center.
So, what does the feedback contain? So you are receiving confirmation that you've been what accepted to the university or to the scholarship. Does it mean that if I get enrolled, I'm getting funded directly, or do I need also to make a separate application for a master's program?
AIMS is an institution, and once you are accepted, you are automatically funded. I used to think I'll have to take care of my flights and other things, but it's fully funded. AIMS is fully funded. It's fully funded. All you need is to pack your things and get to the airport and come.
Now, before we come down to the funding aspect, I'm still intrigued with the mathematical part of this conversation, because most people who would have already listened to this point are in one way or another mathematicians.
Yeah.
And you mentioned to me that you used to do online mathematical coaching. You have actually a YouTube channel for that. What is it called?
The name of the channel is Advanced Maths Tutor.
So you run this channel called Advanced Maths Tutor, and I'm a mathematician. Because I've listened to these conversations this far, I'd like to come and check out what you do, maybe support you, subscribe to your channel. What should I expect there?
Okay, I actually started the channel because in my service year I was a undergraduate teaching assistant, and I wanted to explain certain concepts and teach some shortcuts to the students. So I decided to just create the channel and upload those explanations to them, because certain explanation they can't get it in the class. So I had to try to create a short video explaining what they have to do, because some students are slow to understand, and using shortcuts are risky. You really have to understand what the shortcut is doing. That's why I try to do those short videos for them so that they can apply it whilst they are doing their exams.
Should we expect data science content afterwards, now that you are about to earn your master's?
Yeah, I've been thinking of that. It's just the time factor. The time factor is like, and I don't know, you are a finance person, so you might know opportunity cost. So if you try to shift too much from the academia, you'll find yourself wanting in your marks, because I don't want to go straight, but every week you are writing tests, you are writing quizzes, every weekends you have assignments, and sometimes you are cut off of your social life back at home, or you can't even go out. But we have certain times, we have reading period, we have breaks that you have time for yourself. But it's very tiresome. It's very tiresome.
All right.
That doesn't have to discourage you. It's a nice program.
Yeah, I think you should. I will be the first one from this conversation to subscribe to that channel. So please, guys, just check the description of this video and you will find the link to that YouTube channel. And I would strongly encourage you guys to at least support him, because there's more to learn from that. Now, you are in Kigali. No, you have your offer. And the offer says, welcome to AIMS, Rwanda. Somebody else might have gotten maybe welcome to AIMS, Cameroon. But now let's focus on Rwanda, because you are in Rwanda. This scholarship is said to be a fully funded scholarship. So when we say this is a fully funded scholarship, what do we mean in the context of AIMS?
You're fully funded from your flight tickets. The first thing is, so they are not responsible for your expenses till the airport, until you get to the airport, from your flight tickets. So they cover your flight tickets and they pick you up from the airport to the AIMS center. You have your rooms there in the center. You have 3 square meals a day, and even we have every 2 weeks they change your blanket for you. So all you have to do is to study. No other thing.
So you mean this accommodation is arranged by the university? Do you pay for it?
No, you don't pay for anything. You even receive $100 every month. So that's for your own personal money. You can decide not to buy anything, because you are literally given everything. unless you want to go out to have fun when you have the chance.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does this apply also to PhDs?
We have one center I didn't mention called AIMS Research and Innovation Center. That's actually here in Rwanda, where they train PhD people, PhD students. But they are different from where we are. They are also in Rwanda here in Kigali, but it's in another location, and it's that is very competitive to really get into that. It's really competitive. You have to be really good. You have to be really good to be accepted into the AIMS RIC. We call it RIC, RIC.
That's a challenge for someone who wants to really be good in the industry. So show you are really good by going to AIMS. That's called RIC, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm learning so much about AIMS, and there are things I did not expect or did not know. For example, I did not know like you guys are given like every single thing. I mean, like you are taken. So it just means come the way you are, sit down and make sure you come out of it as a fully trained expert, right?
Yeah.
So things like laptops, things like books, things like anything you can think of as a student is there.
Yeah, every month you have every block we have blocks contains 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks you take a minimum of 2 courses, and you are given books, you are given pen, and we have personal computers in the laboratory, so there's no interference with your work. Everyone has their own allocated PC or laptop where you work on your assignment and everything, because every assignment is done with LaTeX. If you're a mathematician, you must know LaTeX. So every assignment is done in LaTeX or programming with Python or R. Yeah.
Now, you're an international student. It means sometimes when you're moving from one country to another, you may need some documents. For example, a visa and a passport.
Yeah.
Let me assume that you had to submit your passport during the application process. Otherwise, you couldn't have been allowed to fly out of your country, right?
Yeah.
But did you need a visa to study in Rwanda specifically? Because visa rules change from one country to another.
Okay. You don't need a visa. If you're an African, it's visa free for Africans to come to Rwanda. So when we just go to the airport, we just give them our passport and they stamped it, and we entered into Rwanda.
Oh, just like that?
Yeah, you don't need to pay anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So tell me, do you get to work while you are in Rwanda? Do you consider it even possible, given that the program is as structured as it is?
It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. Because this is a structured master's program. So it's designed to keep you busy. Because sometimes you go to class from 8 and you close from class around 4. So you can't have time. You have to study. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's even possible.
To work while you study.
No,
But then
it's not advisable.
what provisions exist after your master's, immediately after your master's? What have you been advised what you're supposed to do immediately after your master's?
Okay, so in AIMS Rwanda, they have some arrangement for the students where they try to link you to companies and give you to have internships. And actually, those in the epidemiology and the malaria modeling, for them, their internships are assured. They don't have to even do an interview to go to their internship. It's fully assured for them to do that internship. But those of us in the structured masters doing the data science and mathematical science, we call us the regular students. You have to contact some company so that you get your internship. You talk to the authorities or the administration, then they try to find a way to process everything.
Now, tell us about your first day in Rwanda. You just left Ghana. It's Accra, right?
Yeah, Accra.
So you left Accra and you came all the way to Kigali International Airport. Tell us what happened during this first day.
Okay. Actually, the first day I didn't really see much because I arrived late. We arrived around 9 p.m. So we couldn't really see the town. We couldn't really see Kigali. But the night view was actually nice. Very, very nice. It was very beautiful. We saw the hills, the lights of Kigali. It's like you were in abroad. You were in abroad because Kigali is very nice. I advise everyone to come to Kigali.
So tell me, well, then what happened? I mean, like now you came in, you went into your. I mean, like there's this nice view of Kigali. I was in Kigali sometime in 2020. This is 2020. So I was there in 2023, December, something like that. And yeah, I'm sure people will love Kigali. It is just,
Yeah,
looking at that city, coming
it's
in.
amazing.
Now the question is, you came in, you were picked from the airport, right?
Yeah,
By the university.
yeah. We have logistics
Hmm.
personnel who meet the international students.
Hmm.
So they help you with your luggage into the car and they drive you to the Ames Center.
So that is your first day
Yeah,
in Kigali. Then
yeah,
what about the first day in Ames? So that means the next day, right?
yeah. The next day.
So how does things work?
Okay, so it was in the weekend. We got here on Friday. On Monday, studies started.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That
there was
was
no
fast.
time for any. We started studies before we did orientation
Okay.
because it's structured. So it has to be covered. Everything has to be done in 10 months. Okay, so it's really everything is structured. There's no time to lose. Yeah,
To play around.
yeah, there's no time to play around.
So so you came in on Friday, rest over the weekend. On Monday, you are in class studying.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's Ames. Yeah,
There is no joke.
yeah, they really have focus. The African way. I mean, like it is a nice one because I would really want to do a master's in less than 1 year.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, it saves you a lot and it also, it keeps you on a very steep learning curve. Now, do you like do projects or how is your program structured? Could you help me understand how is your program structured specifically?
Start getting serious with more advanced courses like machine learning, big data analytics, and all other courses. Then I believe in April, from April to May, we have our essay phase where you work on your thesis for 2 months. So that one you won't go to class. You'll be given a special supervisor who will help you do your thesis in 2 months.
2 months to write your
Yeah, in
thesis.
2 months.
Are you expected to publish out of your thesis or
You are
once you
not really
submit the finished work, it's done?
you are not really expected to publish, but it's advisable to publish your work. You have to
Hmm.
make it outstanding so that it can help you in your PhD applications as well. So you have to work hard on your thesis. And it's advisable to even start before the 2 months. It's
If you
possible
can.
if you can, yeah.
Now, Rwanda is a different country from Ghana.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to believe there's no jollof in Rwanda. What other culture shocks did you experience in Rwanda?
Come on. um, for we, my colleagues and from Nigeria, my colleagues from Nigeria and the Ghanaians and those from West Africa, we are always complaining about the food. We are always complaining,
There's
but
not enough spices?
no, there is no spice. There's no spice.
Okay.
There's no spice. We miss
Hmm.
jollof. We miss our local food, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I've tried to adapt to their style of food. Still, I still wish to get Ghanaian food. We've actually on my birthday we found a Ghanaian restaurant where we had some fufu. We enjoyed some fufu. Yeah. So from
So,
that time we order. We are able to order when we feel like we need to eat local dishes. We order from the
from the
restaurant.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, poundo, fufu, jollof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get all
I,
that.
I love West African food. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
love West African food. You know,
You have to. You have to.
the first time I tasted jollof, I was like, oh my. And then it happened. So I was eating jollof. It was from a gentleman from Nigeria, and he was like, then my Ghanaian friend told me, and you've not tasted ours from Ghana. So, and you know how it usually gets now heated.
Yeah.
Now we had that serious conversation. Who does it better? Is it Ghana? Is it? We will come to that. I know it is an endless conversation that people will never agree to.
These are saying Senegal has the best jollof.
It's because they say it originated from there.
I don't know the history about jollof, but
Mhm.
I'll stick with my country, of course.
And can you notice the difference if I was to give you the three, Ghanaian, Nigerian, and Senegal? Is it easy to
Okay.
notice the difference?
For Nigerian and Ghanaian, I'll be able to notice, but I've
Mhm.
not really tasted or seen Senegal
Mm.
jollof before.
Now, you told me you had a birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to believe this is the day when you go out with friends and also celebrate.
Yeah.
That brings in the aspect of social life. Do you have social life in Ames, even with all this busy schedule? What do you do during your socialization and such kind of a thing?
Ghana has a lot of recreational places to go, so you have the chance to go out.
Does Ames organize events that bring together all scholars from Africa, not necessarily in Rwanda alone, but throughout Africa?
I've not really heard of that. I think that would be
Okay.
very costly.
Yeah.
Flying people all over.
The
I think
world,
that would
yeah,
be
to
very
come to one
costly.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be very expensive.
And because of the structure of the program, I don't think it's possible.
Now, during your leisure, what do you do?
Okay, for me, you see,
Mhm.
I earlier mentioned I'm a musician, so I came here with my guitar, with my bass guitar. So when I'm bored or when I'm stressed, I just take my guitar and practice.
So you have some recorded music, or what? How do we know like the kind of music you do play and such kind of a thing?
Oh, I mostly play gospel music.
Hmm.
Well, I'm a church boy, so I mostly play gospel music. I just play songs and play around with it.
So you have a channel for that.
Yeah,
Is it YouTube, TikTok, and where else?
yeah, YouTube and TikTok.
So what do we call this channel?
Oh, for the YouTube, it's just my name, Emmanuel Ansah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to find me, you can just write Emmanuel Ansah
Mm-hmm.
and you add base. You find me on YouTube. And on TikTok, it's Imabase Ansah Keys. On TikTok, Imabase Ansah Keys.
So guys, don't worry about the name because you will still find the link. If you cannot spell the name, just check the description. You'll find the
Yeah.
link to his channel. That is on YouTube, on TikTok. Remember, he has. I mean, like this is so interesting. So there's one for mathematics. So guys, if you love numbers, you just want to know what he does with numbers. He has a channel specifically for that, and you should expect stuff to do with data science and such. But if you also want to know more about the entertainment aspect, just go check his YouTube channel where he plays his music, and also on TikTok. And it will be nice to see those calculations, the mathematical calculations that come in music.
Yeah.
Now,
Actually, most of some mathematicians, the greatest ones were musicians. Like Albert Einstein, we have Leonard Euler. They were all musicians. So in every musician is actually a mathematician because the calculations, the timing, they are all calculations.
so we have somebody who is looking into applying to this scholarship,
Yeah.
and this is the same person who has listened to this conversation for over the last 30-40 minutes. What would you say to this potential applicant?
a life-changing moment. It's a life-changing moment. Because at first I thought it's just going to school to learn formulas, but at AIMS you know what you are learning for, how the maths is used, how the maths is applied in real-world scenarios. So AIMS is a good choice for you.
So that was Emmanuel Ansah, and this is the Management Diary. Your host today was Omae Joseph, and until we meet again in the next episode, bye bye.